The Commission shall invite Mr. Bernard Avle to step forward to give his evidence. Please, what do you swear by, the Bible or the cross?
I, Bernard Avle,
do hereby swear by the Bible.
Do hereby swear by the Bible.
That the evidence I shall give before the Commission of Inquiry.
That the evidence I shall give before the Commission of Inquiry.
Shall be the truth.
Shall be the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Please be reminded that by the oath you have taken, you've made a point to speak the truth, and the failure to do so constitutes an offense for which you'll be liable to punishment.
Thank you.
Please sit down.
Thank you.
Did you come with counsel or you came with some supporters?
Mr. Chairman, I came with two lawyers, Mr. Clement Akapam.
Can they announce themselves?
Okay.
May it please, my lords, my name is Clement Kojo Akapam, and with me is Ni Apatu Plange, here to represent the material witness, Mr. Avle.
Thank you very much. Counsel, you may proceed.
Mr. Avle, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Will you please, for the purposes of the record, repeat your full name to the Commission?
So, my name is Bernardino Koku Avle. Bernardino Koku Avle.
How do you spell your Koku?
Koku.
Mr. Avle, what do you do by way of profession?
I'm a broadcast journalist by profession, my lord.
And for how long have you done that?
Professionally, for 14 years.
Are you working by yourself or you work for an organization?
I am employed by an organization.
And what is the name of the organization?
I work for City FM and City TV.
For how long have you been with the organization?
I've been with City FM since inception in 2014, and I've been with City TV since it started a year and a half ago.
On the 31st day of January 2019, did you play any role at all in monitoring the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency election?
Yes, my lord.
What role did you play?
As general manager in charge of news and current affairs at City FM and City TV, I deployed journalists to cover the by-election. As host of the City Breakfast Show, on the day of the election, I interviewed journalists from the ground and coordinated City TV and City FM's coverage of the by-election throughout the day.
Have you got any materials, as in videos, snapshots, or any material at all that you think will aid the Commission in carrying out its duties?
Yes, my lord.
Mr. Avle, what do you have?
With your permission, I have documented what I have on this sheet, and I can just run you through and present to the Commission.
Very well.
So I have audio files, video files, and text. I have video files which are news reports our journalists took on the day. I have other reports which I have labeled raw video files taken by the camera crew that we put on the ground on the day. And then we have news reports we broadcast on our online portals, 2 of them. I also have audio files of interviews I conducted with my reporters on the ground on the day. Other interviews that the host of Eyewitness News, Umaru Sanda, conducted with both Mr. Samuel George and Mr. Hansen Ajiman on the day. And then I also have audio files of my interview with Honorable Brian Echampong, Minister of State in charge of National Security, on the 1st of February. I also have the full text transcript of the radio interview with Honorable Brian Echampong. And all of these documents we have on this pen drive.
Very well.
Thank you.
On the pen drive, are all these documents properly arranged and labeled?
Yes, my lord.
Such that anybody looking at them wouldn't struggle to find what?
I have created 3 folders. So if you look at the sheet I would give you, I've labeled one folder audio files. So all the audio files are in the audio folder, all the video files are in the video folder, and the text file is in the text folder. So it makes it pretty easy to access.
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Avle. Mr. Chairman, your witness.
Exactly. Can you explain the distinction between the raw footage and the other videos?
Mr. Chairman, in observing the proceedings of the Commission on Television, I noticed that in some of the testimonies, people made references to edited videos and news clips. So in putting together the evidence, the cameraman who took the shots gave us the raw footages he took from his vantage point, which have not been touched. And then he's also added the news stories he's created from the raw footages so that you can understand how it was sequenced. So the raw footage will show you just a camera standing somewhere showing things without any editing. And by watching the video report, you would understand what story he was telling. And we thought it was important to attach the raw files so that if you wanted to determine the authenticity and genuineness of what was shown, the raw footage would be more useful.
How long is the raw footage?
There are 9 separate files, each of them less than a minute long. But in the news story that was created, some of the stories are about 2 minutes long because you have the voice of the narrator speaking to the video. But the raw footages are 9 specific footages, which seen independently, the commission can make sense of without even watching the news story accompanying. Because what we do is we take a lot of raw footage, but because journalists are storytellers, we have to contextualize and make it sensible. So we attach, for example, an introduction, and we speak to camera, and then we also then put the footages in to make the story complete. But the raw footage observed by a trained eye can then be deciphered to actually ascertain the veracity of the incident.
Okay, we'll take a look at the raw footage. Do you intend to do any commentary on the raw footage? Because you were not at the scene. You were not an eyewitness. So are you in a position to do any explanation of the videos, the raw footage? And
in order not to enter the realm of speculation, it would not be advisable to speak to a footage I did not take.
yes.
So I only brought the footage because as the supervisor of the journalists. They are in my possession. I believe the cameraman and the journalists who were there are available to speak to what they took, if it will please the commission.
Thank you, Mr. Avle. It's helpful when we have such documented scenes. We had evidence here that a CTFM reporter took refuge in the same room with the Member of Parliament, Honorable Sam George. Does that video, he must have taken videos from that point.
So just to clarify, so we had 2 journalists and a cameraman at the scene at the Lawabaleshi Presby School. When the shooting and confusion ensued, one of the journalists went to a different classroom, and there was one who escaped with another cameraman to a different room. So I believe that the journalist who was with Samuel George was in a separate room from the journalist or the cameraman who took the footage, but it was the same building. So the answer to your question is, yes, there was one journalist with Mr. George in one room, and then there was another journalist with a camera person in a different room, because they scattered when the shots were, so they didn't move as a group.
But we saw footage, well, we saw at least a clip from Mr. George of a clip shot through a window. Who shot that clip?
If I remember what I saw of Mr. Samuel George's testimony, he showed one already edited news report, which was the CNR Digital News 2-minute story. And then he showed other footages, which I do not know whether they were from his own phone or from somebody else. So I am unable to ascertain whether the second video Mr. Samuel George showed from that vantage point was taken by our cameraman or was taken by himself.
No, but who went into that hiding place with Mr. George? The journalist with the cameraman, or the journalist who was by himself?
The journalist who was by himself.
So that footage could not have come from that occasion?
From the way I understand it, it was a 3-floor building. And journalists and EC officials and camera people were hiding on different floors. And in hiding on those floors, people took different shots. The shots I have submitted to the commission were taken by my cameraman, who was assigned on that day to be the cameraman. The journalist who hid with Mr. Samuel George, to the best of my knowledge, did not take any shots.
So who took the shots that showed the ballot box in the corner and the EC official hiding in another place? It could not have been your cameraman.
Since I am not very sure of the specific video you are referring to, I will not be in a position to answer that correctly. But what I do know is that my cameraman, Mr. Kwame Adzaho, took shots from one of the classrooms, which shots included the confusion ensuing outside the building. It was a chaotic scene, so the camera wasn't even straight at some point. And the footages are not very long. So I'm sure if the commission wants to watch, it will be advisable to do so with the cameraman who took it to explain how and what he shot.
Oh, we will watch. I was just trying, because we heard testimony here that Mr. George took refuge with a city FM reporter in one room. Yes. And so he showed a video, showed us where the ballot box was in that room. And so I just wanted to be sure that it was shot by your cameraman. But what you are telling me now is that even if it was shot by your cameraman, then it did not come from that occasion, because your cameraman there did not have a camera.
No. With respect, what I'm saying is that I do not know the source of Mr. Samuel George's footage in respect of what he showed, because I did not confer with him before he came. What I do know is that my cameraman took shots from a classroom in the ensuing confusion. If I saw Mr. Samuel George's videos and then I saw the videos my cameraman gave me, then I'll be in a position to tell whether it's the same shot. Not forgetting, my cameraman had a camera which he was using while he was in hiding. I also know that in hiding, people can use mobile phones to take shots. So I'm not clear as to the shots Mr. Samuel George showed here as to which particular camera took those shots.
I just wanted because we will watch them, but I needed to know whether they were shot in that room. Thank you.
All right, you can go ahead and show the videos.
The raw ones, you mean?
The raw, yes. Can you guide him to so that we can show the raw videos? Said it's about 9 minutes.
9 different raw shots.
Total.
On average, a minute each.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 shot, 9 video.
And they do that. Look at your party, and they do that, and you look at them.
I need to, with your permission, sir. Yes. These 9 videos, I need to repeat, were taken by Mr. Adzaho from different parts of the Ayawaso West Wuogon, from different parts of the Labawaleshi precincts. This one was taken from outside, but still a raw shot. There are others you will see which were taken from within that vantage point. So what you're seeing now is a shot of people outside, not whilst he was hiding. So, and they are 9. So these are very short, a minute, less than a minute for each of them. So just to be clear that this one was taken outside, whilst the confusion was about ensuing. But as I said, Mr. Adzaho will be in a better position to explain the sequencing and where he was.
Kill our people. They shoot 2 people over there. You see, we saw the vote. You see, we can't get their vote. No vote.
So that's Mr. Hansen Ajiman running away. The one who later found himself with Mr. Samuel George. He had a blue camera, but he was making a beeline for safety. This is from one of the classrooms. This is a shot from the classroom. This is the second video. It's not in any particular order. Select all. You want to select all? So this is the third, again from that window. So this video would end up in a news report with CNR Digital, because then it was created into a news story. But this is the raw shot he took, because he was hiding. He would say to me that he would have to put off the camera at some point and take other shots. That's why they are in pieces, because they were not very sure whether they were being seen. So he took this shot and then he would close the camera and take another shot. So they are separated shots, but these are all raw, which was later on put into a story. So there are about, we've played 3, there are 6 more.
Do you think he will be in a position to say who was being assaulted in this video?
I believe the picture would speak for itself, but because he was there with other reporters, they would probably know him. But I'm sure if he came here, he would tell you who he was.
Okay.
We're gone. So, from the same window, but it was not joined to the first video, but it's the same sort of incident, but broken into 2. You can hear a door open behind them. So we've played 4, I think 5 more. The hammer. The guy being pulled. The gentleman who was being assaulted. In the previous video. In blue with a tag behind him. This is not somebody I know. At the back. I am sure if either my cameraman or my reporter were asked to speak to this, they would probably tell you who the person was. So that was video 3. I'll go on video 4. We didn't play video 4. So this is 4. Yes, it's very short. Go to 5. So you can hear a lady speaking in the background. That was the second reporter, the lady who was in the room with our cameraman. And I was interviewing her on air at the time she was in that secure location. But the second reporter was in a different room with Mr. George. Very short, yes. The last one. These are the raw shots taken from the classroom.
Mr. Avle, thank you very much for this very important videos. If we need any assistance, especially from those who took the videos, we'll let you know. So,
Thank you.
yeah, you're free to go now.
Thank you, sir.